This conference will now be recorded.
All right, with that, I'll call to order the Town of Ocean Ridge code enforcement hearing. Today's July 2nd already. Again, by Verizon's time, it's 10 a.m., so we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Amity Barnard. I'll be the special magistrate for today's hearing. Looks like, I believe these are violation hearings, unless I hear otherwise from the town. The process will be as follows. When you hear the case called, you'll come to the podium right in front of me. The town will put on its case, any evidence, any witnesses that the town intends to call. Once they're finished with their side, you will have an opportunity to present any witnesses, any testimony, cross-examine any witnesses that the town's put on. At the end of that, I'll make a final ruling and you'll get an order that reflects that ruling in the mail. That said, first thing I'm going to do is swear anybody in who's here to testify on any items on today's agenda. So if you're here to speak on any of these items, if you could stand and raise your right hands for me. Sir, are you here for an agenda item?
I'm a citizen participant.
Okay, very good. Your hand's raised, sir. Go ahead. Thank you. Do you all swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. And with that, I will turn it to the town to call its first case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Christy Dowd on behalf of the Town of Ocean Ridge. The first case is case number 2024-006. The property address involved is 23 Coconut. We have the town clerk, Kelly Avery, and our zoning official, Manny Palacios, here to discuss this case. This case involves a pool without the required barrier under the Florida Building Code adopted by the town pursuant to section 67-31. And we have in the agenda backup for your consideration, the initial notice of violation that was issued, the follow-up notice of violation that was then issued, the citation to the city's code, along with the actual citation from the Florida Building Code, proof of service for today's hearing in the city's or the town's costs, which are $172.97, and photographs of the posting. And I'm not sure if Ms. Avery or Mr. Palacios wants to address the magistrate in terms of the background on this case.
Yes, basically this was he had a previous notice of violation for a pool barrier. He did put a temporary barrier up with the condition that he was to get a permanent barrier within 30 days of that temporary barrier. It's supposed to have been done by April 15th. It was not done. There were attempts made by contractors contacting me, about information on how to either fill the pool in or demo it or putting a permanent pool barrier up, and never saw anything come through.
And just, I know who you are, but state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, Kelly.
Thank you. What was the deadline, the April 15th, 2024 deadline?
That was the 30 days after the temporary pool barrier had been put up.
So that was a town imposed deadline?
Yes.
Okay. Based on a permit that was issued, is that a temporary permit?
Yes, to get a permit.
Okay. And Mr. Palacios, do you have anything else to add?
Manny Palacios, zoning officer for the town of Ocean Ridge. Your Honor, I was out there this morning and these photographs were taken. What I did find, though, aside from this pool barrier, is the condition of the property itself. Unsecured property, access to the interior of the building, junk and debris. The pool itself is a haven for mosquitoes and so forth. I think it presents not only a health issue, but also a haven for vermin and rats. And that is it.
Are these photos that are on the screen right now, are those today?
Today.
Okay. And Mr. Palacios, you took those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'm seeing in the case file that there's an affidavit of service that you posted the property on May 31st, 2024, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I guess, can I see the photo of the pool itself? I didn't see that one. So is that orange fencing is still there as of this morning?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
But the pool itself has got a black plastic covering, which is caved in, water, I should call it, really dirty water where you could obviously see where mosquito.
And has that orange fencing, has that come down in places?
Right.
Has that orange fencing come down in places, or is it?
Well, no, the fence itself is up, not very properly secured, but it is up. I guess the black and white of that is, yeah, the barrier is up, but I don't think it would hold, keep any children out from falling in if they were to venture in there.
So your position is that temporary fencing is not sufficient and doesn't meet the town code?
Exactly.
What's the town seeking in terms of a remedy today?
Your Honor, the town will be seeking $250 a day fine to bring it into compliance. And since we've already had the discussion with the property owner about bringing it into compliance with the permanent pool barrier, we would ask for a quick turnaround to bring it into compliance with perhaps a order that requires them to apply for the permit within a short time frame and then complete the job within 30 days. And then the town's cost of $172.97.
And this address is familiar. This pool issue hasn't been before me before, is that correct?
No, the pool has not been before you, Your Honor. When we first cited it for the pool barrier, the discussion was to put up a temporary barrier so they could bring it into compliance, but they had to apply for the permanent barrier within 30 days, as Ms. Avery testified. And it was just, they never moved forward with getting the permanent barrier.
So is that in a previous order that I issued that they had to get?
Oh, was it? Yes, yes, I'm sorry, yes, that was.
So is there a fine running on that already?
That stopped, it didn't start because they ended up getting the temporary pool barrier before the end of the day.
Okay, so there's no fine
Correct.
currently running.
He did pay the administrative fee from the last time. as well.
Okay. Is somebody here for this case? Okay, good morning, sir. Come to the podium for me.
James Cossini here.
Okay, you're the property owner, okay. Okay, so you've heard what the town has said. They're asking me to have you apply for a permanent barrier within so many days and then have the work done within so many days. I guess, give me your side. What's going on?
Explain what would happen. Before I even decided on this, I had my contractor pump the pool out and put a tarp over it, so I did address it. It's a non-functioning pool. It had a crack in it from settlement. And upon learning of the citation, I put the temporary fence around it. I hired a contractor to fill in the pool. Ultimately, what's going to happen with the property, I've talked to 3 architects, got 3 opinions, numerous contractors, structural engineers, soil engineers. The property is going to be taken down later this year. It's going to be raised and knocked down for new development. And that's in the process with an architect to design a new premises for the place. But notwithstanding, I hired a contractor right after I put the temporary one in to come in and fill the pool up just with dirt to get a permit to tie this was back, I think, in late May, March, early April, to tie the plumbing and just to fill it in with dirt and to get a permit to do that. He was on the verge of getting a permit. And then I had another contractor who wanted to work on the property. He said, stop that. I want to put a fence around it and save the pool and do some refurbishment. And that's before we decided definitively to knock the property down. We were going to try to save the structure.
Okay.
That contractor was named Henry Development. I gave him just to handle the alleged code violations, to clean the property up, landscaping, put a fence around the pool. I gave him a $10,000 retainer April 18th. And to be honest with you, the guy lied to me and said I applied for a pool with the city, a permit with the town. I applied for an approval with the county, and he just kept putting me off with a bunch of nonsense and malarkey for about a month or so, until I think Kelly finally checked and find out he didn't file for any permits. So I have a dispute with my contractor. I have a copy of the canceled check for $10,000 that I paid him in April to handle the situation. And he lied to me and didn't file anything, essentially. He just cleaned up the property pretty much. And I had immediately hired a new contractor, the same one that's gonna knock the house down, named TRV South. They moved on it right away. He's got just one step away, I think, from getting the permit approved. He's getting all the applications. I think he met with Kelly today, didn't he, Scott? And
He came in, but yeah, nothing was submitted as.
he got the approval from the county. They stamped the survey and he's waiting for a letter, I think, a letter from them.
Approval from the county for what?
I think they have to approve the permit to fill the pool.
The health department.
Okay, the
The
health
health
department, okay,
department.
perfect, thank you.
He said they were supposed to send him a letter yesterday, email it, and it didn't come. He's gonna walk it down to the city today. And from what I understand, he's filed all the applications and everything. And that's the only thing we're waiting for, to get the application to put the fence around approved. So I just request 30 days to get,
Okay, so you are intending to put a fence around?
yeah,
Okay,
temporary fence until we can get the house, and then a permanent fence, construction fence until we can get the house knocked down.
Okay, so when you say fence, you mean a construction fence, and that would be
Construction
around
fence, yeah.
the front of the property, basically, so that it's, are there fences along the back and the sides of the house, of the property now?
No.
Okay.
The house is basically impassable by all sides except the front because of these big mangrove swamps around it. But the idea now is to get a temporary or construction fence around the swimming pool. That's what.
So right around, in the same location as the orange fence? Is that what you're proposing?
Yeah, the orange fence, yeah. The same location as the orange fence, to get a fence around there.
But an actual chain link fence with
Chain link
with the
fence
green or
Yeah.
whatever the code allows in
Yeah,
terms of.
would be until the house is knocked down. We're going to put a construction fence around the premises. So, but just for the meantime, we're going to get a chain linked.
Around the pool?
Yeah.
Okay, just around the pool area, okay.
Pool area.
I'm gonna ask the town a few more questions, but before we do that, how can he see the documents? They're on the screen,
I can see that.
did you look through those as she was kind of scrolling through? Do you have any objection to those documents being entered into the record? They're the
No.
town's notice documents and photographs. No
Again,
objection to those
just
documents?
reiterate, I did hire the contractor to take care of that whole situation with the pool. I just took my money and didn't do anything and lied to me about it. I even have emails.
You're unfortunately not the only one who has that issue
Yeah.
with contractors these days.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that testimony, because that's obviously not your issue. That's somebody
Yeah,
wasn't
that's a
doing.
dispute I have with him.
Right.
now. It's gonna probably end up in small claims court. So.
So let me ask, keep standing there, so let me ask the town, is the construction fence that he's describing, is that adequate in terms of compliance?
Your Honor, the construction fencing, there's two things that come into play. What you see from the street, which is, I think, the owner is proposing to do, but also you have a neighbor to the east that needs to be screened as well. I think if I understood him well, he wants to just put it across the front.
No, I think what he was telling me, and correct me sir if I'm wrong, is that you're gonna put a temporary construction fence around the pool,
Chain link fence around the pool.
where the
Where
orange
the-
fence is
yeah.
now.
Okay.
That's
So
the
would
short
that
part.
constitute compliance?
Well, two things with that, if he puts some sort of fencing around that pool that is properly secured, but also eliminate all that water and debris and junk and trash that's in there, because that's just an infestation.
So I hear that, I guess my concern is that this case just seems to be cited for the barrier, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
so we would have to recite them if the pool.
If there's other code violations, that would need to be brought as a separate matter.
I could have that pumped, you know.
And you understand their concern is that whatever water, every time it rains, it's very hard to keep up with that, but
Water gets in, and I pumped it before and put a tarp. I
And so you may want to do that, what you're hearing
I
from
do
them
it,
is
and
that
then the
that's a
wind comes
concern.
along and
Yeah.
pulls the tarp apart, and Wayne comes in, and it's kind of like a continuum. I told my contractor to keep kind of an eye, look out for it.
Yeah, so you don't end up in code enforcement for another case, you may want to deal with that
Yeah.
before they get you cited on that.
Your Honor, let me ask Mr. Palacios a question. Mr. Palacios, is there a way that he could simply secure the pool with a secure, I've seen it where they do sort of like a rebarb and then they secure that? Would that resolve the issue with both the pool barrier and the issue within the pool in terms of the standing water?
Mr. Palacios, do you want to sit over there so you can get on the microphone? Just so that the recording picks you up, thank you.
So I'm trying to just figure out what would be the easiest that would cure all the issues with the pool in one swoop.
Hit the
Well-
hit the button.
Push the button there.
Well, if I recollect correctly, around the pool, you've got pavers of some sort, so it's really difficult for that to happen. What we're proposing is something that goes into the ground and substantially secures the barrier itself. Because if you see right now what he's got, it's really not just almost like a facade type of barrier. We're looking for something that's really concrete, that is gonna really do something as far as the safety for the pool.
And if I heard him correctly, I think the next step is to fill in the pool, right? So do you have a timeline on how quickly the health department's going to issue that
Well,
permit?
As soon as we could get a demolition permit for the entire structure, that's the plan now. In fact, we got an architect working on a new house. And we're gonna do the paperwork to get a full demolition permit, so we just knock everything down and fill the pool in.
Okay.
That's the ultimate goal, and that within 6 months. is what we're
Okay.
looking at, yeah.
When the gentleman came in this morning, to talk to me about the
Scott,
permit.
yeah.
I had suggested, this is totally just, I thought to save you guys money, instead of doing it twice, because he had mentioned that you wanted it around the pool.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why, since the home is, empty, and to keep, other people out, why not just put the construction fence around the entire perimeter? That we only have to do it once. Because right now, it sounds like you're gonna be doing it twice. You're gonna do it around the pool, and then when you do the demo, you'll have to do another one.
Yeah,
Around the whole home. So I had suggested getting one for the entire perimeter, so that way it kills two birds with one stone.
yeah, I broached that subject with him too, and he thought that it would just be quicker to put the fence around the pool right away, chain link fence around it was a time thing with him, so.
And for the purposes of this code case, you can certainly do that. I don't know what the town has in terms of codes relative to structures that are unoccupied. You may have another issue there, but certainly to get you into compliance with this code enforcement case, putting the temporary fence around, the construction fence around the pool would be sufficient to comply the case, as I understand it from the town.
Yeah.
All right, sir, and you said you need 30 days
Yeah,
to have the fence erected, correct?
correct.
Okay, and he has to get a building permit to put up that construction fence, right? And the turnaround time on getting a permit is roughly?
As long as everything's there, we can get it out within less than a week.
Okay. All right, can you get a permit application in within a week?
It's, all the paperwork's been done, and yeah, I can get that, I just need to sign it. And
Okay,
my understanding is the only thing Scott, the contractor's waiting for is a letter from the county, which you said you should have had, so it should come any day now. So,
but I'm not sure, that's, I think, relative to filling in the pool. I don't know that you need that approval to put up the construction fence, does he? He does need that.
That's
Okay.
all we're waiting for, is the county to send a letter. They've already approved it and stamped the survey. They just need to send the letter. No.
Okay, and does he have any idea how quickly you're gonna get that letter?
He said he thought he was gonna have it today. We're gonna run it down here this morning.
Okay.
He didn't have it by this morning, so he's pressing. Yeah.
All right, anything further you'd like me to hear, sir?
No.
Okay, and you didn't have any objection to the documents being admitted, correct?
Correct.
Okay. With that, in case 2024-006, let me enter the town's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. Anything further from the town?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I think we're gonna, when he submits for his permit, we're going to review the method of how he's going to secure the pool, with the barrier and so forth. It'll have to meet the necessary requirements, wind load requirements and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, but you don't anticipate any issues with I mean, a construction fence, as long as it's 48 inches high, should meet the pool
And
barrier
it's properly
requirement,
secured.
right?
That's all we're looking for. Then.
Okay, so you don't anticipate any issues with what he's
Oh, no,
proposing?
no, no.
Okay. All right. All right. Anything further from the town?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. In case 2024-006, I've entered the town's evidentiary case file. Based on the affidavit of posting in the file, I'll find legal service for this morning's hearing. Based on the evidence in the case file, as well as the photographs and the testimony of the code officer, the zoning officer and the respondent, I'll find that the respondent's in violation of section 67-31 and 4502.17.1 of the Florida Building Code relative to the unsecure pool that requires a pool barrier. I'm going to give respondent until July 12th to submit an application for the building permit for the construction fence. And then I'm going to require you to have the construction fence installed on or before August 2nd. Okay, so I'm giving you the 30 days. I'm giving you a little bit more time to get the permit in, just given you're waiting for the health department and this week has a holiday in it. So you shouldn't have any issue. In the event of non-compliance with either of those dates, a fine of $250 will be assessed for each day that the violation continues thereafter. So make sure you get a complete application in by July 12th. Make sure you get the construction fence up by August 2nd. Because I have found you in violation, the town is entitled to its administrative costs, which are in the amount of $172.90, and those are typically payable within 30 days. So I wish you the best of luck.
Is it 172.97?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I write that wrong? Sorry, let me check.
Yeah, 172.97.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wrote down 90. Sorry about that.
That's all right. No worries.
So correct that. The administrative costs are 172.97. Again, payable within 30 days. Best of luck to you. Keep in touch with the town and get that application in. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next case.
Thank you, Your Honor. The next one is case number 2024-009, property address at 5015 Old Ocean. The property owner, according to property appraiser's office, is Howard Goldsmith. This case involves violation of section 67-174A1 regarding the exterior to remain in good condition. There's boards on the window. It also involves section 34-162 right-of-way obstruction. There's overgrowth growing from the property onto the right-of-way. We have on behalf of the town, Kelly Avery, the town clerk, and Manny Glacios, the zoning official, regarding this case. In the backup for the case, you have our notice of violation with proof of service, along with the property appraiser's information showing ownership of record, and the town's costs, I believe, are also included, which I did not write down how much the town's costs are.
Looks like the same thing.
Yep, 172.97.
Yes.
And Ms. Avery can provide you some background on this property in the case.
Okay, we first notified them back in February that there had been some complaints of the property, the cosmetic looking look run down. Told them, they need to take care of that, they promised they would. I then contacted them on May 8th, sent them a picture of the overgrowth of the brush, which is included here.
And just so I'm clear, that's the photo of the stop sign right there?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Asked them to take care of that, gave them probably about a week and a half, to let me know if they're gonna take care of it, didn't hear anything back. I sent them another notice, this is all via email, asking them to get it done by a certain day, it was not done, I told them that if I did not, I would have to issue a notice of violation. And then, never got any response from that. And so that's when I then issued the notice of violation on, 6/1.
And what's the status as of today?
As of today, that has still not been done. These are the pictures from this morning. There's the home still boarded up, and the brush is still out.
That's the same line of trees there on the bottom photo?
Correct.
Okay. And the code requires it to be cut back, just not hanging over the right of way, is
It needs
that?
to be cut back 5 foot back and up.
Okay. And up, it was what we said? Okay. Any communication from respondents after the notice of violation?
No.
Okay. Is anybody here on behalf of this case? All right, for the record, the respondents are not present in this case. What is the town seeking in terms of remedy?
Your Honor, we would ask for the removal of the boards and bring the windows into a good working condition. We would ask for 30 days or a fine of $100 per day. On the right-of-way obstruction, the town would like to provide a much shorter time to bring that into compliance just because it is overgrowth onto a right-of-way. The town has obtained a quote from a vendor of $1,050 to actually remedy the violation. It is not brought into compliance voluntarily by the property owner. So we would like to give them 72 hours to bring it into compliance, failing which authorization for the town to remedy the violation. And then we would bring the costs back to you for imposition as part of the lien amount, if not paid.
And I guess I'm just looking at the notice. Was this cited as a health safety welfare violation?
I don't believe it was cited as a health safety violation, but part of the rationale for the short time around is the town clerk's notification to them previously and advising them to get it remedied. And now that the town is just not hearing anything from the respondent.
Is there any kind of vegetation removal permit that's required
We
to do
told
the
them-
trimming?
We told them for this portion, just to cut back and up, then we would not require a permit, but if they did the entire dunes, then yes, they would.
Okay.
And I believe the town clerk has been emailing the property owner's attorneys on the matter and has no response from them. So in addition to, we can post notice today for the short time around, she can also email the attorneys as well regarding the short time around, turnaround time to bring it into compliance.
This notice, all notices that I have ever sent out have gone to both the homeowner and the attorneys. This notice was posted at the property, certified and emailed.
Okay. And when was the first communication you had with the respondents on this?
In the very beginning, when they first took possession of this property, it was probably about February 21st is when I.
Of 2024?
Yes,
Okay. And what did they buy it like this? Was it boarded up when they bought it?
I don't believe so.
Okay. But nobody lives there, correct? It's,
Correct.
okay. Okay. So I'm fine with the turnaround time. I'm not sure, given the fact that it wasn't cited as a health, safety, welfare, I think that needs to be recited if your intent is to abate. I'm
Okay.
happy to require them to comply within 3 days to cut the bushes and set a fine of $250 a day if they don't comply. I'm not sure that, given the notice document didn't specify that it was a health, safety issue, that wouldn't be subject to objection by respondents if I allow abatement today.
Okay.
That's not to say you couldn't reset it as a health, safety issue, but I'll give them a short turnaround because it becomes a matter of health, safety, given the fact that you can't see and I guess you almost are running into the bushes if you're driving right on the right side of the road there. So I'm happy to give them. I think it's reasonable to have vegetation trimmed. That's a pretty quick activity, and given the fact that the documentation went out almost a month ago, they've already had sufficient notice. They were given 14 days in the notice of violation, so I think 3 days is reasonable turnaround in hopes of compelling their compliance there.
Okay.
The other section, the condition of the property, just so I'm clear on what constitutes compliance, it's take the boards off the windows and then paint and do any repairs that are necessary.
To turn the windows into, compliant windows. I don't know what the condition of the windows were before they boarded them up, but the code requires that the exterior all elements be maintained in a good working order. So with them boarded up, we don't know if they have working windows beneath the boards.
And it looks like in one of the photos, if you can scroll down, it looks like there's some rot there at the bottom. I presume that's part of the alleged violation of, obviously it's not good condition. Go down, or,
I think it was mainly, the citation was primarily for the boarded windows.
okay. Okay. All right, so anything they need to do essentially to comply with that code section, which requires that the exterior be made in good
Yes.
condition, is what will be required. All right. So 3 days from today would be.
Yeah.
All right, anything further from the town?
No.
All right, given that, in case 2024-009, I've noted for the record that the respondent is not present. Based on, first let me enter the town's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. Based on the signed certified mailing as well as the affidavits of posting in the case file, I'll find that the town had sufficient service for today's hearing. I'll find, based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of town staff, that the respondents are in violation of sections 67-174A1 and 34-162A. With regard to the violation of section 67-174, which is a condition of The structure on the property, I'll require respondents to comply on or before August 2nd, or a $100 per day fine will be assessed for each day that the violation continues on the property. With regard to the violation of section 34-162A, which is the overgrowth into the right-of-way, I'll require respondents to comply on or before July 5th, or a $250 per day fine will be assessed for each day that the violation continues thereafter. Because respondents have been found in violation, I'll assess the town's administrative costs for today's hearing in the amount of $172.97 payable within 30 days. And hopefully that will encourage respondents to get on these matters.
Okay. And if not, then we'll recite it and bring it back for August.
Okay, thank
As
you.
life safety.
And then I inadvertently skipped over the adoption of the April 2nd minutes. I read those and will adopt those as drafted. Apologies for that at the beginning. I was too excited to get into code enforcement, I guess. Anything further before the magistrate?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, with that, I'll adjourn the hearing at 10:36. Thank you.